figure out the whole open point of view. Everything is narcissistic, me. It's just a developmental thing. And so somebody's coming to school to kill you. How can you stand up and be brave and learn and grow and develop if you're afraid of being murdered in school? Right? And it's our job to make sure that doesn't happen. That response, that we've got a shooter drill, you saw in the film, is one of those things that I poked at. For the 90 percentile of school shootings, mass school shootings, our social push is about you, just you. The free enterprise system is about you. Capitalism is about you, about how much money I make, how well I'm doing, what job I have. Me, right? A lot of times, no disrespect to you, brother, because you're amazing. I see that already. But a lot of times, we pick politicians who have been number one of things their whole lives, their entire life. They went to school, they were valedictorian, they went to a corporation, they were the CEO, they did number one. We elect them and think they're gonna all of a sudden start doing for us? How does that make sense? Their only practice is being a number one. So they go get all the money they can. They deal with all the lobbyists they can so they can have. But that leaves us thinking out in the cold because we foster the mentality of one, of me. That's not how we win. Literally, those words are real. The perspective of me is not how we win. You can't do it that way. Me is alone. We is us. We is all. We is everybody. We is inclusive. And in order for us to protect our children, we have to change who we are. We have to change who we are at the foundations of it. That me stuff has to change. Our societal pushes for violence and sex has to change. Those two things lead the country more than any other. Even more so than money, because largely money goes to violence or sex. They are the purposes. And when that's the focus, how do you believe our kids are going to come up? What are they going to see? What are they going to focus on? What are going to be their motivations? How are they going to interact with society? When everywhere they look, there's violence. Everywhere they look, there's sex. Everywhere they look, there's violence. Everywhere there's sex. And it's a lonely world, right? Sometimes it's loneliest when you're a kid and you're trying to figure out, and you don't know who you are, and you're trying to figure out where you fit in the world, and you're kind of lonely. And if you have somebody with you, like you think, because sex is so prevalent in our society, you think everybody's getting it, which means everybody's got somebody. And largely, everybody's lonely. But you think, because we're narcissistic, right? You think it's just you. So you're even lonelier, because everybody else is doing the sex thing. Because you've been overexposed to it with your really underdeveloped mind at 10 years old, 10 years old.
Yeah.
Right? You can't figure stuff out. You haven't developed enough to figure that stuff out. But you're lonely. You're lonely from the things you've learned that you think you should be or where you should be when everybody else is pretty much in the same spot you're in. And you make foolish choices because of it. Right? And part of the issue, and I'm gonna wrap up right now, part of that issue is that I've kind of did a wild spray of topics, though he asked me one question, because that is the crux of this issue. It is not one thing. It's not three things.
Yes, sir.
It's how we're living. How we're living is the problem. And I can't mention one without mentioning 10 more. Because we have to fundamentally look at us. That's where it starts. And I'll say this last thing. The amazing Monique MacArthur. We had a challenge. She's the mastermind of making things run for Dying to Learn crew. And we had an issue where something didn't work out, and I'd asked her to do something, I don't know what it was, and it didn't work out. And when I talked to her, I immediately said, I'm certain I didn't tell it to you right. I'm certain it was my fault. I'm certain it's something I need to do to fix it, but I need your help right now. And she said, that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen, is somebody just take responsibility as a leader, because that's what you should do as a leader. Take responsibility first, fix everything after that, right? Well, that's what we have to do as a society. Who are you? What are you doing? What can you do? Because it's the one thing you can control. I don't care what happens in life. The one, no matter who's wrong or who didn't do or how short they were, the responsibility is yours in this life, for your life, in every facet of that. Because you're the only one who has the power to do you however you do you. And if we could take that mentality, if we were going to be selfish, then be that kind of selfish. Be the self that understands that you are the power to make every change that comes about in life. And if you take the power, that power into yourself, you take the responsibility on your own, because that's what that is. That's what the empowerment is. When you're responsible, you can change it. If it's somebody else's fault, you can't do a thing. You just watch them, talk about them, point fingers at them. But if it's your fault, if you're responsible, you're empowered to change it. And that's where we have to be as a people. As human beings, we have to make changes because we take the onus onto ourselves to change. One of the graphics that you saw, the last graphic you saw isolated, was the word, you. Because it's more important than any word in the English language. You are everything. You are where everything starts. You are where everything begins. You are how everything happens for your world. And for those in the circle around you, you can influence them, impact them, and make their lives better and greater. You can reach them, you can connect with them, and you can tell them they can do. You could be in a corner when everything looks terrible. You could be in a corner when they're ready to kill somebody. There's just a lot of people ready to kill somebody, and we don't know, right? But if you love them, if you look out for them, if you are that person, if you have that attitude, if you have that can-do spirit, if you reach out to people, if you love somebody, you can change their lives.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis, Ms. Blakely, Mrs. Barrett, Mr. Golden. Unfortunately, Mr. Barrett took up all our time. I can't ask any questions from the audience. So I just want to thank you for being the listening ear to Mr. Barrett.
Thank you.
Actually for seeing his words come to life. And thank you for sharing your perspectives with the audience. At this time, we're going to move to the next phase.
Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. Well, let's play some music.
Thank you, panel. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you again. Appreciate you guys. So, I appreciate everybody again for coming out. Real quick, I just have a couple of announcements to make. First of all, I want to say that people who have VIP, we have amazing food. We have the rap party. We have special performances by TMP, and we also want to welcome everybody to come out and be back and join us. If you have VIP, you have your ticket, your wristband, you're able to have the food, but we want the others to come out and be able to mingle with us and enjoy the entertainment. So we will, I have one more announcement, and then we'll dismiss and have everybody go to the back this way up the steps. And you'll enter out the back way. Leroy, come here. William Ross, come up here. I just wanted to give some roses now to you, Leroy. I could not let this day go by and this event go by without acknowledging your passion and the work that you do and the love that you give. You care. This man is a former Marine. And I can't say it right now. I'm sorry. Always a Marine. Sorry. He's a Marine. He's a father. He's passionate. He's passionate about children, acting. And so I want to give you this award. It's a Service and Gratitude Award presented to you, Leroy Barrett III. It says, your passion to save our kids, underscored by your determination to make this film, has brought Dying to Learn to the Miracle Theater in Inglewood for your first movie screening. Congratulations to you all. Named Jake, but this is my #1 best guy friend here, William Ross. We've been friends since the LBC days, met him on the street, going to a Alpha Cal State Long Beach party, and we have been friends ever since. Roz and TA, I want to thank you guys, Black UTV. You guys have pulled in and did an amazing job to make this event happen. But William, when I called him and said, I got a guy named Leroy. This man is passionate. He's got a great project. I want to host a screening for him. And Will said, come on, baby, let's do it. He has a theater, and I thank you guys for allowing us to host it at this theater. Will, I just needed to give you some appreciation. This brother is a love brother, a love guy. He does whatever he can. And he says, you've never seen me work, watch me work. And he put this production together in the theater, so this has been his experience. So Will, because you were a star, okay? And this says, in appreciation of your work in the screening of Dying to Learn, April 24th, 2022. I just want to say thank you for everything that you do.
All right, everybody, let's go party.